Chapter 17 Ashadh Shukla Chaturthi Varta. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Dasharatha asked Vasishta, "Now please tell me about the importance and glory of Ashadh Shukla Chaturthi Varta." O Mahamuni, I am not content even after listening to the desire-fulfilling legends. Vasishta said, in the province of Maithila, there was a city named Gandaki, ruled by the valiant king Bhadrasena. He was skilled in weapons and armory and defeated all other kings to become the sovereign of the world by annexing other island kingdoms. The king would govern his kingdom righteously and within the framework of law. He was generous and humble. He respected devas, brahmins and guests. He regularly conducted many yajnas. All the defeated kings were under his governance. They served the king. He had a huge army. The other kings would pay taxes to him. Once, swarms of parrots and rats attacked his kingdom. They were consuming his stocks of food grain and destroying clothes and other commodities, resulting in massive destruction and losses. The dutiful king Bhadrasena employed various means to exterminate them. He used various weapons against them. He used Agni Astra to burn them, but they would reappear. The king was stunned. These pests infested every household. The king was unable to counter the invasions. The unhappy king went into a forest. He fasted and performed penance. He worshipped and meditated on Rudra Shiva Shankara. He extolled Shiva in various ways, trying to please him. After a year, Mahayogi Bakadalbhya came to the same forest and, as destined, saw the wandering king. The king performed his puja humbly, served a meal, and then, with a grief-stricken heart, he asked the Mahayogi, "O Swami, in my kingdom, pests like rats, insects, and parrots are creating havoc by feeding on the stock of food grains and clothes. There's no count to the loss that has occurred. I and my subjects both are extremely distressed. O Brahmin, our efforts to curb them have failed. That is the reason why I have become depressed, have forsaken my kingdom and am staying in the forest. I had commenced worship of Shankara. By the prowess of that penance, I was blessed with your darshan. Now please offer a solution to my problems." Vasishta said to Dasharatha that on hearing Bhadrasena's prayer, the illustrious Ganapatya Bakadalbhya was delighted and said to the king, "O mighty king, I have come to meet you at the behest of Shiva. Listen carefully to my advice. This will redeem you from your unhappiness. In your kingdom, the Chaturthi Varta has disappeared. Hence you are faced with calamities. You share the blame along with your subjects. You deserve hell. Therefore, one should observe the Vrata before the commencement of any work to be blessed with the 4 types of prosperity. You do not perform the Vrata, then all your deeds will fail and the 4-fold prosperity will elude you. O intellectual one, ponder on this." Bakadalbhya, heeding the request of the king, told him about the Chaturthi Varta. The king then said, "Who is Ganadisha? Please elaborate on his true form so that I can worship him." Bakadalbhya said, "I am narrating my experiences, listening to which you shall acquire the complete knowledge of Ganaraja. Earlier I had engaged in penance by subsisting only on air. The luminosity from the power of my penance had encompassed the animate and inanimate world, which terrified them. Yet I continued with my penance. Then I was blessed with the most incredible and extremely important darshan of the form of the all-pervading Vishwa. I became enlightened. I renounced the practice of penance and resorted to the path of yoga sadhana. I wandered in the states of Jada and Unmatta, the insentient and insane in the eyes of the world. I then strived hard to observe equanimity and restraint of the senses, Sama and Dhamma. I was able to concentrate and be single-pointed and accomplished the joy-bestowing yoga. In this manner, I serially attained the Sahaja state, became one with Brahma, and became blissful. When I was in that state, I experienced some infatuation. I experienced the feeling of Swa, I-ness. Consequently, I became confused. I wondered, when I have become one with Brahma, how can I be infatuated and experience I-ness? The awareness of Swa means to experience anger, hatred, etc. Shanti or peace cannot exist with these experiences. In order to find a solution, I surrendered to Shankara and extolled him. Shankara was pleased. I humbly said, "Please impart the knowledge of yoga." Shiva said, "Comprehend that Sat, Asat, Sama and Sahaja have originated from Swananda when he experienced awakening. From the union of these forms arises Swa. This has been expounded by Vedas. When the forms are in a state of disjunction, it is ayoga, distinctness, and there is a destruction of the sanyoga, synthesis form. There's no doubt about it. Yogis on practicing yoga have explained that the union and disunion is the bestower of yogic peace. The union of sanyoga and ayoga is the bestower of yogic peace. Brahmanayaka Ganesha is endowed with yogic peace. You must worship him with the prescribed rituals to attain union with Brahma in the true sense. The union form is represented by the syllable Ga. Ayoga is represented by the syllable Na. The Lord of Ga and Na is Ganadisha as stated by Vedas. Saying thus, Mahadeva initiated me into the Ekakshara Mahamantra of Ganesha to help me attain yoga. Later I went into a forest and meditated on Ganaraja and chanted the mantra. I attained peace by the grace of Ganesh. Yet I continued with my practice with my daily puja and continuous contemplation of Ganesha. It was then that Ganesha manifested, granting me the darshan of his form, bearing an elephant trunk. I was overjoyed. I offered pranams and sang stotras in his praise. He blessed me with everlasting devotion and Ganadisha disappeared. O Bhadrasena, since then I have become a venerated Ganapatya. Having said to Bhadrasena, Bakadalbhya initiated him into the Panchakshara mantra and then the eminent Brahmin disappeared. Panchakshara mantras are Jai Ganesh, Jai He Ramba or Varadaya Hum. Bhadrasena happily returned to his kingdom and ruled righteously. He and his subjects observed the Shukla and Krishna Chaturthi Varta of Ashadh with devotion. He popularized the Chaturthi Varta in his kingdom. Thus all subjects observed the same. Soon the pests such as rats, locusts and parrots were destroyed. People now had abundant stock of food grains and became wealthy. Their distress were relieved. Happiness prevailed. In the end, all ascended to Swananda Loka and attained union with the Supreme Brahma. The king handed over the reign of his kingdom to his son and with his wife went into the forest. There he engaged in meditation and single-pointed contemplation of Ganaraja. In the end, he too ascended to Swananda Loka along with his wife. This is the glory and magnificence of Ashadh Shukla Chaturthi Varta. O Dasharatha, listen to one more legend, which glorifies the merits bestowing Ashadh Shukla Chaturthi Varta. It is joy-giving. In the province of Vanga, there lived a sinful trader. Ignoring his duties and occupation, he engaged in sinful activities. He gambled. He would consume alcohol and resort to violence. He would kidnap and molest women. His father condemned his evil activities. So the wicked son was enraged and poisoned his father. After his father's death, he performed his final rites, went home, and forcefully robbed his mother of her wealth. When the people heard of these events, they were shocked. Some of them approached the king and recounted the misdeeds of the merchant. The king was enraged and summoned him. The king assessed his crimes and commanded that he be hanged to death. The day he was caught was Ashadh Shukla Chaturthi. He was forced to fast as he was not served any water or food. On Panchami, the distressed criminal was hanged. He ascended to Swananda Loka after death because of the merits earned by him by observing the Vrata unknowingly. Blessed by the darshan of Ganapa, he merged with the Supreme Brahma in Swananda Loka. In this manner, many people attained Swananda Loka on account of having observed the Chaturthi Varta. It would be impossible even for a yogi to describe in entirety the glory and greatness of the Chaturthi Varta. It is not surprising that if this Vrata is performed with dedication and devotion, Chaturthi will become the bestower of boons, Varada, and will bestow the observer with divinity. Anyone who reads or listens to the glory of Ashadh Shukla Varada Chaturthi Varta will be blessed with desire fulfillment. Thus ends the 17th chapter on Ashadh Shukla Chaturthi Varta in the 4th Khanda of the Purana Upanishad, Srimad Mudgal Puran, describing the legends of Gajanana, dedicated to Sri Gajanana. End of chapter 17.